In an interactive session at the Security Conference in Munich, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar addressed questions on India's foreign policy. He emphasized that having multiple options should not be a subject of criticism but rather admiration. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar defended India's diverse foreign policy approach during a security conference in Munich. Responding to concerns about India continuing to procure crude oil from Russia despite the Ukraine situation, Jaishankar stated that having multiple options is a sign of strategic intelligence and should be admired.
Do we have multiple options? Answer is yes. Is that a problem? Why should it be a problem? If I'm smart enough to have multiple options, you should be admiring me. You shouldn't be criticizing. Now, is that a problem for other people? I don't think so. I don't think so, certainly in this case and in that case, because look, we try to explain what are the different pulls and pressures which countries have. And it's very hard to have a unidimensional relationship. Different countries and different relationships have different histories. If I were to look, say, between the US and Germany, it is rooted, there's an alliance nature to it. There's a certain history on which that relationship is grounded. In our case, it's very different. So I don't want you to even inadvertently give the impression that we are purely and unsentimentally transactional. We are not. We get along with people, we believe in things, we share things, we agree on some things, but there are times when when you're located in different places, have different levels of development, different experiences, all of that gets into it. So life is complicated, life is differentiated. Good partners provide choices. Smart partners take some of those choices. The BRICS started in an era where Western dominance was very strong. The premier gathering of the world was the G7. And you had a number of significant powers in the world who felt that, well, they were not part of the G7, but maybe they also brought value to the table by sitting and discussing with others. So in a sense, you had a collection of these countries. It was originally 4. South Africa joined later. If you look at it, it's a very interesting group because it's geographically as disparate as it can be. Now, like any product, you test it in the market at some point. We tested it last year and asked people, so how many of you want to join BRICS? And we got almost 30 countries who were willing to join BRICS. So clearly, if 30 countries saw value in it, there must be something good we've done. It's important today to make a distinction between being non-West and anti-West. Mm-hmm. I would certainly characterize India as a country which is non-West, but which has an extremely strong relationship with Western countries, getting better by the day. We must be clear that what happened on October 7th was terrorism. No caveats, no justification, no explanation. It was terrorism. Number 2, as Israel responds, it is important that Israel should have been very mindful of civilian casualties, that it has an obligation to observe international humanitarian law. Number 3, the return of hostages is today imperative. Number 4, there is a need for a humanitarian corridor, a sustainable humanitarian corridor to provide relief. And eventually, there has to be a permanent fix, a long-term fix, otherwise we're going to see a recurrence. And I think today, certainly India has long believed in a two-state solution. We have maintained that position for many decades. And I think today many more countries in the world today feel not just that the two-state solution is necessary, but it is more urgent than it was before.
In the context of different nations facing unique challenges, Jaishankar stressed the complexity of international relationships. He asserted that India's stance is not solely transactional but is shaped by historical context and shared values. The External Affairs Minister also reaffirmed India's commitment to a two-state solution on the Palestinian issue. On the BRICS grouping, Jaishankar noted its continued relevance, with around 30 countries expressing interest in joining last year. Jaishankar underscored the positive global reception of BRICS, indicating its value and the recognition of India's contributions. This comes as India navigates a dynamic and multifaceted foreign policy landscape. Subhashish Govekar and Sanika Nagvekar for GOA365.